It's an old adage about moving away from the idea of teachers and leaders being the sage on the stage and actually being the guide on the side. It's not about the children leading on things, but they can certainly input into the activities that you're doing. And when you mentioned the iPad project that I was involved with back at Clevedon, we heavily involved not just our students but our parent body as well. We had a sort of steering group which involved all those key stakeholders, from governors to teachers to parents to the children as well. And I think it's really important that when you're thinking about these sorts of things, you involve the people who are going to end up using them. And there's so much more choice available now as well. And so, I did work with one school a while ago, and you'd walk into one classroom and you'd see a teacher using Seesaw. You'd walk into another classroom and see another teacher using Shobi. Another classroom, someone using Google Classroom. They had access to Google and Microsoft in the school as well. And every classroom it seemed you went into, they were using something different. And children have enough, and the children were complaining about it. They were saying, we have to remember with our academics, without having to remember the different ways our different teachers want to submit our work in. Mm-hmm. And listening to the student voice, as it's called, and involving that in your decision making. It's not about letting the children make the decisions about what happens. It's using their voice to help inform what you're doing as a school leader with the things that are going to work within your school community. And about the thing around giving feedback. The Education Data Foundation released a great report this time last year about the key things that you can do when it comes to embedding and engaging technology into your schools. There are 4 key things in there. And the first one, which is really important, is about not bringing in technology for technology's sake. It's often something which is desperately trying to solve a problem that hasn't really been clearly identified, and so unpicks the things that you should be doing around that. But the final one, and we all know the importance of feedback and closing the feedback loop and what have you. And one of the things that so many teachers have been telling me is that actually there's been a real sort of light bulb moment for them, has been the real powerful tools that are available across all the different ecosystems for leaving really meaningful and purposeful feedback, and doing that in ways as well which actually can connect with your students. And what's been really lovely has been lots of these ideas have actually come from the student, bringing it back to the question, have come from the students themselves. So an initiative I've seen, you'll probably all know the emojis on Apple devices. You can have Memojis, which are emojis that are based on your own face. And so teachers have been making their own Memoji stamps to go alongside the feedback, because they're not getting to see their students quite as often as they actually normally would do. The students will say, "We're missing you. Could you not use some Memojis on your feedback?" And so teachers are leaving audio feedback and thus being more productive, giving much more detailed and accessible feedback. That's a fantastic feature of using the audio feedback for students who struggle with writing. You can be far more productive and say much more in a minute than you can actually handwrite and things. But then putting a little Memoji next to it as well, so that the student can actually connect. And obviously it's not your actual face, but it's a sort of facsimile of your face. But it helps to keep those connections going. So you see a smiley face or like a head exploding or whatever else it is. And these ideas have come from conversations with the learners saying what they're missing. Can you do this for us? Can you do that for us? And I think when you've got the culture right in your school, where teachers listen to the voices of the young people that they work with, they can actually develop some fantastic, really innovative approaches that are really low tech, actually. So that whole idea of low access and high challenge, you can do some really simple things, like say recording your voice and all the rest of it too, but it can have a huge impact on maintaining those relationships with your learners, because that's one of the things that's most difficult. It's far more about bringing people with you on that journey. It's the human side of things, which is so important. And we're having fantastic conversations now. Technology, we couldn't do what we're doing right now if it wasn't for the technology. This thing behind me wouldn't be there, and so forth and so on. But what's great to see is so many teachers just using technology as the vehicle to enable them to allow learning, support, emotional, mental health, well-being, check-ins take place, all that sort of things. So it's not about making the technology the star, but it's using it to facilitate what we want to try and be able to do. But children have helped to drive the culture change that's required and necessary and possible. So student digital leaders are a key sort of tenet to the things that I share with schools, because having those children in place, often teachers won't feel confident enough to ask under normal circumstances. Teachers might not be that confident in feeling that they can get in touch with a technician or somebody for some help because they've forgotten how to, mirror their iPad or whatever the thing they've forgotten how to do. It's not, they don't feel confident enough, and they don't want to look silly, and by the time the technician might have come to them to actually fix that or see them, the moment's gone, and all these different things. And so having children involved in all the processes, actually, as part of your sort of steering group, your strategy,